Have you ever wondered what it would be like to stand at the foot of a mountain that trembles with the very presence of God? Imagine a sky lit not by the sun, but by lightning, a ground that shakes, and the sound of a trumpet so loud it fills your very soul. This isn't a scene from a blockbuster movie. This is the story of Mount Sinai, a moment that forever changed the course of human history. Let's journey back in time, over 3,000 years ago. The Israelites, a nation of former slaves, had just experienced a miracle of epic proportions. Led by a man named Moses, they had walked through the Red Sea on dry land, escaping the clutches of the most powerful empire on earth, Egypt. Now they were free, but they were also wandering in the vast, unforgiving Sinai desert. They were a people in search of an identity, a purpose, and a leader. They had a leader in Moses, but they needed something more. They needed a law, a covenant, to bind them together as a nation and to guide their relationship with the God who had so powerfully delivered them. After 3 months of travel, they arrived at the foot of a majestic, imposing mountain, Mount Sinai. God called to Moses from the mountain, telling him to prepare the people. This was not going to be a casual meeting. For 2 days, the Israelites washed their clothes and consecrated themselves. They were instructed to set a boundary around the mountain. No person or animal was to touch it, for the presence of the Lord was about to descend in a way they had never witnessed before. The anticipation, the mix of fear and awe, must have been overwhelming. On the morning of the 3rd day, the world changed. A thick cloud enveloped the peak of Mount Sinai. Lightning flashed, thunder rolled across the desert, and the sound of a shofar, a ram's horn, grew louder and louder. The entire mountain quaked violently, and it was covered in smoke, as if a great furnace was blazing within it. The people at the base of the mountain trembled with fear. This was the power of the Almighty, displayed in a way that left no room for doubt. From the heart of this divine spectacle, God called out, "Moses." And Moses answered. He alone was summoned to ascend into the fiery cloud, to meet with God face to face. Can you imagine that climb? Leaving behind the trembling crowd, the noise, the chaos, and walking up into a cloud of fire and smoke to speak with the Creator of the universe. It was a journey of ultimate faith and courage. Moses spent 40 days and 40 nights on that mountain, enveloped in the divine presence. During this time, he wasn't just having a conversation. He was receiving a blueprint for a new society. God gave him detailed instructions for the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary where God would dwell among his people. He laid out civil and religious laws that would govern everything from social justice to daily worship. But at the heart of this revelation were 10 special commands. These weren't just rules. They were principles for life, carved by the very finger of God onto 2 tablets of stone. We know them today as the 10 Commandments, a moral and spiritual foundation for billions of people ever since. Let's look at what they are. The first 4 commandments deal with humanity's relationship with God. The first, "You shall have no other gods before me," establishes the principle of monotheism, the radical idea at the time that there is only one true God. The second forbids the making of idols, reminding the people to worship the unseen Creator, not a man-made object. The third commandment warns against misusing God's name, treating it with the reverence and respect it deserves. And the fourth establishes the Sabbath, a day of rest and worship, a revolutionary concept of sacred time and rest for all people, even servants and animals. The next 6 commandments focus on our relationships with each other, forming the basis for a just and compassionate society. Honor your father and your mother, the 5th command, builds the family as the core unit of society. The following commandments are direct, powerful, and essential for any community to thrive. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. These are the pillars of trust and safety. The final commandment, you shall not covet, is unique. It goes beyond actions and addresses the inner world of desire, tackling the root of many sins, envy and greed. Meanwhile, as Moses was on the mountain receiving these divine laws, what was happening down below? The people grew restless. 40 days is a long time to wait, especially when your leader has vanished into a fiery cloud on a terrifying mountain. Fear and impatience got the better of them. They went to Aaron, Moses' brother, and demanded, "Make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses, who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him." In a moment of profound weakness, Aaron gave in. He collected all the gold earrings from the people and melted them down. From this gold, he fashioned a calf, an idol reminiscent of the gods they had known in Egypt. The people proclaimed, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." They built an altar, offered sacrifices, and engaged in wild revelry. In a heartbreakingly short time, they had broken the first and second commandments before they even had a chance to hear them. Up on the mountain, God saw what was happening and his anger burned. He told Moses to go down, informing him of the people's swift betrayal. God even offered to destroy the Israelites and start a new nation through Moses. But here we see another side of Moses. He is not just a receiver of law. He is an intercessor. He pleaded with God, reminding him of his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He argued on behalf of the people who had just rejected him and their God. And because of Moses' passionate plea, God relented. When Moses came down the mountain with his assistant Joshua, he heard the sounds of partying from the camp. As he got closer, he saw the golden calf and the people dancing. His face, which had just been in the presence of divine glory, was now filled with righteous anger. The 2 stone tablets in his hands, inscribed by God himself, suddenly felt impossibly heavy. In a moment of pure, raw fury and grief, Moses threw the tablets to the ground, and they shattered at the foot of the mountain. It was a powerful, symbolic act, a broken covenant represented by broken tablets. Moses took immediate and decisive action. He seized the golden calf, burned it in the fire, ground it to powder, scattered it on the water, and made the Israelites drink it, a bitter taste of their own sin. He confronted Aaron, who made feeble excuses. There were harsh consequences for this rebellion, a painful but necessary step to restore order and re-establish the authority of God. But the story doesn't end in destruction. After confronting the sin, Moses returned to the Lord. He once again acted as a mediator, praying for forgiveness for his people. "But now, please forgive their sin," he pleaded. "But if not, then blot me out of the book you have written." It's one of the most selfless statements in all of Scripture. Moses was willing to sacrifice his own eternal standing for the sake of his people. Moved by this intercession, God showed mercy. He made a new covenant with the people and commanded Moses to chisel 2 new stone tablets, just like the first. Moses once again ascended Mount Sinai for another 40 days and 40 nights. God reinscribed the 10 commandments on these new tablets. The covenant was renewed. When Moses finally came down from the mountain this second time, something was different. The people stared at him in awe, but this time not because of what he was holding. His face was radiant. It shone with a divine light because he had been speaking with the Lord. The glory of God was so bright on his face that he had to wear a veil when he spoke to the people. The story of Moses at Mount Sinai is more than just the giving of 10 rules. It's a story about the awesome power and holiness of God and the profound human tendency to stray. It's a story about the need for law to create a just society. and the need for a mediator to bridge the gap between a holy God and a flawed humanity. The 10 Commandments, born from fire and thunder on a trembling mountain, have echoed through millennia, shaping laws, ethics, and the very conscience of the world. They remain a timeless guide, a moral compass, pointing us toward a better relationship with our Creator and with each other. Thank you for joining me on this journey back to Mount Sinai. If you found this story inspiring, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that have shaped our world. Let me know in the comments which of the commandments you find most challenging or relevant today. Until next time, stay curious.